I've got some amazing news to share with you. I can share it with you now, so I haven't been able to for the last couple of days, but I can. I have been asked, well, first of all, I've just having published a chapter in a book that I was asked to be part of, a book for 20 female entrepreneurs, how they've made a living out of their struggles. So I talk about my struggles with my weight and how desperate I got and where it took me, blah, blah, blah. And that's been published on International Women's Day on the 8th of March. But from that, I have been asked to go over to the USA, to Florida, to appear on Fox TV. How cool is that? I am so excited. So in September, I will be going to be interviewed on a new television program out there that's called Inspirational Women's TV. And there are a few people from the UK who've been chosen to go over to talk about why they are an inspiration and what they do and how they help people. And so I'm just so privileged. I feel so privileged to have been asked to do that. It's like, wow, how bizarre. It's just amazing. So so watch this space. You'll hear loads about it. You'll be sick to death of it by the time I finish. But yeah, that's just a little bit of news for you. Those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Amanda Jane Duggan. I am the owner of New Leaf Weight Loss Surgery, which is a company that supports and sends people to the Czech Republic for weight loss surgery at much, much cheaper prices in the UK and Ireland, with fantastic care. And part of my role really is that I am a bariatric success coach. I help support people with all of the things that happen before, after and during the surgery, but also I'm trained as an emotional eating coach and a eating disorder therapist. I've also got all sorts of other bits of training like NLP and EFT and things that I use as part of my training, so I'm constantly developing my skills. But I help support bariatric patients to get the very best out of their surgery, to help them with the psychological stuff, the head stuff and other things that may derail them and stop them from becoming the epic person that they're meant to be, in a nutshell. So that's what I do. But every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, when I'm not on holiday or something, I come on here just to give a little bit of free advice to people about all that mindset stuff, so that you can just have some tips and tricks, and I can share some stuff with you. If anybody is struggling and anybody would like more information about my program, I'll talk a little bit about it at the end, but if you would like any more information about my program, it's a 6-month support program with lots of support, individual support, group support the nutritionist, lots of dietitians, bariatric qualified dietitian. There's lots and lots of support there. She's amazing. She's a woman called Vandana Patel, and she's really good. She works alongside me, and we help you to fill your tool bag up with other tools, not just your weight loss surgery tools, so that if you've got an issue or problems, you know what to do. So let me know if you're interested in that. But tonight we're going to be talking about the emotional eating monster. Okay, so for me, that emotional eating monster, so that's that other voice that's in your head that goes, go on, you know it'll be okay, just have one biscuit, you know that chocolate will be all right, you know it's been there a while, or you'll be okay, you'll get back on it tomorrow. And then where you can't get back on tomorrow, you get back on it Thursday, and you know it just drives you to eat, takes control and makes you feel out of control, and like something else is controlling your body. I don't know whether any of you feel that, but even though you hate this monster and you try everything to start afresh and not do it, but you find yourself maybe secret eating, binging, and it brings a sense of relief when you give in just momentarily, but afterwards the guilt, the shame starts all over again. Give me some hearts if this is you, if in any way you can resonate what I'm saying. So it's like you're permanently 24/7 thinking diet, weight, health, food. Diet, weight, health, food. And it's like it's this program that's running in your mind in the background all the time, thinking about what should I eat, when can I eat, how can I eat, what's the effects going to have on, am I going to lose weight, have I not lost enough weight, should I lose weight, what kind of foods can I have fruit, can I have this, how many calories, you know, and it's blah, 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 blah. And this emotional eating monster doesn't just rob you of your health and your physique, which, you know, let's face it, that's our main focus usually, but it also robs you of your peace of mind and your sanity. You know, this war and the battle going on in the mind. Because it's like, I just don't understand why I keep doing this. So this is my experience, what it feels like. So I'm doing okay, I'm cruising along, and suddenly something will happen. Okay, and I'll stir up a load of feelings or emotions. So I might see a friend and they might just like not acknowledge me, or somebody will emotionally, I'll have an argument with my husband or something that will bring up a bunch of feelings. And all of a sudden, this beast wakens up, and it sort of drives me to eat anything I can get my hands on if I'm really derailed, or it'll send me to eat something in particular, but it's usually sugar or carbs. Or maybe it's not that dramatic, so maybe you just get bored, or you start feeling a bit anxious because there's nothing going on to distract you from that sort of vague sense of impending doom that we get, that just seems to be lurking just under the surface. Even that little bit of free-floating anxiety can be enough to wake the beast up and set it on the prowl for something to eat. Anybody? And just anybody there that's like resonates with me at all? I've only got 2 people on tonight. Wow. Or it might be as simple as getting home from work or school and finding yourself alone for a little while after a hard day, and whatever the trigger might be, the beast isn't about to go back to sleep without doing some serious eating first. So the story normally goes on, okay? And you think, right, okay, well, all I need is some willpower. I just need willpower. I just need to fight him. So I'll go on another diet, or I'll restrict something more, or I'll get back in control. Because that's what we've always done. We've always thought, right, well, if I just restrict this, or I just do that, I'll get back in control and it'll shut him up. But actually, what you need to do is to accept him and make him feel safe. And I'll come on to that a little bit later on. So everything we try to tame this emotional eating monster, we do through our body. Uh-oh. Can you hear me, guys? We do it all through our body. When we do it through our body, like food restriction, diet, exercise, surgery even. However, your emotional eating monster is not in your body, it's in your head. Oh God, it's gone. I think I've lost connection. This might help or not. I don't know. Either you've all gone or I've just lost connection. Anyhow, I'll carry on and hopefully it'll come back. So everything we try through our body, i.e. with food restriction, diets, exercise, surgery. But this emotional eating monster is in your head. It's not in your body. So it makes sense, no sense at all, to try and soothe the monster that's in your head by putting things into your body. Because it'll work for a while, but it's never going to last because you're running on willpower. So all health, your body sees everything as an all health situation. So it doesn't see, we say, well, we've got emotional health, physical health and mental health, for example. Your body doesn't see it like that. Your body sees it as all health. It just sees it as health. So we have to approach it from an all health perspective. And this monster has been with you for a long time. And you start to worry about what you're going to feel like without him. You know, anybody who felt like that? What will I feel like if I can't eat, if I can't use this crutch? I really love food. I just want to eat. I don't know how I'm going to feel if I can't eat. I want to get rid of it, but I don't. It's like a pair of worn slippers, you know? You've just got that used to them that you just can't be without it. But for those of you that do want to do something about it, that can feel this emotional beast, if you like, coming on, there are a couple of things that you can do that you can help yourself in the moment. So there's 2 basic approaches you can use to tame this beast before it trashes your food plan, and you'll need both of them really for long-term success. And the difference between them is sort of the difference between emergency medicine and preventive medicine. So the main focus now, I'm going to talk about the immediate emergency. So when that beast is loose, like it's just come on you, and you're thinking, right, what can I do? So the bad news here is that willpower has very little effect on emotional eating. It really doesn't. From a psychological perspective, the shift into emotional eating mode, I don't think you're going to understand this, is usually a state-dependent event, which is a fancy way of saying it involves changing into a different state of consciousness, or like almost like a different person. It's like you have been taken over by a different person. So people that drink alcohol feel like that. So it's got its own independent set of emotions and related thinking patterns. And I'm going to go on to talk about that in a minute. So for a little while, you literally aren't your normal self. And the normal tricks you use to manage your behaviour and thinking may not work. So what you normally would use to manage your thinking and your behaviour just doesn't work. And that's why you can be in the kitchen, walk past the biscuit tin with no intention whatsoever of eating one, and before you know it, you've almost eaten a full packet of biscuits. Or you know that feeling when you're in the car and you get somewhere and you don't know where you've been and how the hell did I get here? Well, that's when the monster takes over. It's like it changes state, okay? So you are shifting into a different state of consciousness where you may not even be aware of what you're doing. So willpower can't help with that. It will have little effect on controlling your emotional eating. The good news is that your emotional eating monster is not that bright. And you can trick it into going back where it came from without too much effort if you know how to do it. So here are a couple of tricks that usually work. So number one, you can play this, what I call this play the stalling game. So your monster has a very short attention span. And if you can manage to stall it just for a few minutes on its way to the kitchen, it will often forget why it woke up in the first place and happily trudge back to where it came from. So instead of trying to fight it and tell it, no, you can't have what you want, you can't have what you want, you just tell it to hang on 5 minutes, just give me 5 minutes, I'm just going to go and do this, and wait until you're done doing what you're doing. So if necessary, you can usually get away with stalling like this 2 or 3 times before things start to get really bad. And most of the time, that 10 to 15 minutes will be long enough for that monster to forget the whole business and go back to sleep. So what I urge you to do is make a list of 5-minute things that you can do. So go and read a chapter of the book that you're on. Go and surf the internet for a while. Go and make a phone call. Go and do something. Put the washing in. Tidy a sock drawer. Anything that's going to distract your monster for 5 minutes. So what you're doing is you're getting out of that state of consciousness back into the present moment, back into the real conscious thinking, and stalling that monster. So that can work. The second one is you can play what I call the distraction substitution game. So if your monster doesn't fall for the stalling game, you can still use your cognitive capacities, so your conscious mental capacities, to keep the upper hand. So the key here is to keep in mind that what your beast really wants is never food, but it wants emotional comfort of some sort. And if you can find ways to comfort yourself that don't involve food, the need to eat will go away quite quickly. So you can find something enjoyable that you really enjoy doing that's simple and easy. So listening to soothing music, watching a podcast, taking a hot bath or a nice walk, grabbing the phone and chatting with a friend, cuddling up with the dogs on the sofa, inspirational reading. So think of that monster as a little child who's just woken up from a nightmare. And of yourself as a parent that's looking at a way to help calm the child down and realise it was just a bad dream. So what you would tend to do is to distract that child. Come on, look at Teddy. Teddy's here. Isn't Teddy lovely? Or Teddy wants to go back to sleep. Why don't you lie down with Teddy? You try and distract them. Or give them something else, like, here's the Teddy, don't worry about the monster. You just substitute it for something else. Well, this is very similar. This monster is childlike. So if you can distract it or substitute it with something else, then you can get the emotional monster off your back. So those two techniques work in an emergency. But to be fair, they really are only sticking plaster. Because what we really need to do is to tame the monster permanently. So instead of keep trying to put him back in his cage all the time by distracting him, substituting things or stalling him, it's only ever going to stop it for a while, but then he's going to come back in and fight even harder. So what you need to do is to actually understand why he's there and what is he trying to do. And is he really out to get you? Well, this monster is actually there to protect you. It's not actually out to get you at all. I know it feels very much like it is, but it isn't. Because the monster doesn't understand your long-term conscious goals. All it can ever do is work in the very immediate present and past. It has no cognitive reasoning. It can't think to the future. It doesn't know what you want other than what you are feeling. So it works on feelings and memories. It never works on desires, forward planning, any of that sort of forward cognitive thinking. And that's why it doesn't understand what you are trying to achieve. So what happens is you're intelligent, you're hardworking, right? And you can't, even then you can't beat him. You're like, fucking do everything else, but I just can't control it because it's trying to protect you. And that protective mechanism is so strong. It's really hard to get over it. So how do we do that? How do we tame that monster? Well, the brain is like a computer. Let's think of a computer. It's got loads of subconscious programs running along our neural pathways. So some are good for us. We breathe naturally, for example. We don't think about that. That's a subconscious program. It's a parasympathetic program, but it's a similar idea. If somebody threw something at you, you would either try and hit it or you duck. You don't think, oh, I better duck. Okay, yeah, you just do it. Yeah, that's coming from your subconscious mind. Now, the first time somebody threw something at you, you wouldn't probably duck. You'd have been quite a small child, somebody thrown something and you'd gone, hell, oh God, that hurt. The next time somebody throws something at you, you might go, oh, and you might just, and then the third time you probably go, you duck, you think, I know what's coming now. And that's how the subconscious mind works. So the subconscious mind finds ways of keeping you safe and out of trouble and out of pain. And what it does is when it finds a way that works, like when something's thrown at you, it found a way of ducking, that's going to work, it stores that in your memory bank. And when you feel that or see that threat coming again, you don't have to think, I'm going to duck because something's coming at me. Your brain just, your subconscious mind just goes straight to that book on the shelf in the diary and goes, I know what works with that. It's in milliseconds, nanoseconds, and brings that back to you and you duck. You've not even had a thought of it. Okay, does that make sense? If anybody's here watching me, just tell me if that makes sense. Excuse me, I need a drink for a minute. So, your brain tries to put on automatic pilot as many things as it possibly can to free your thinking brain up with space. So when it can find a solution to something that works on a regular basis, it stores that and it will send you back to that solution time and time again. And the longer the program is running in the brain, the more powerful it becomes. And we've got these neural pathways that we've learned from very early years when we believe everything that we get told. Or sometimes the emotional eating can be caused in later life by a traumatic experience where it becomes a coping mechanism. But either way, what's happened is your mind or your subconscious mind has worked out in some way that eating, and sometimes particular food eating, helps you feel better. It soothes and eases your emotions. And it's usually worked that out from a very early age. So I'll give you an example. I've got two beautiful granddaughters and their other grandmother. I hope she never watches these, actually. She could do. If you're watching, Kath, I'm sorry. I've been meaning to tell you this for a long time. But if they hurt themselves or they cry, she'll pick them up, hug them, but out of her handbag, invariably comes as sweet. And I just think, oh God, and she gives the sweet. She's been doing this from them being very young, and they shut up. They go quiet. So what their subconscious mind has learned from a really, really young age is sugar equals get rid of the pain. So every time that they're in pain or of any sort, they are gonna always, their subconscious mind is gonna take them back to trying to find something sweet, because it's the thing that takes the pain away really quickly. Because there's loads of physiological reasons why that happens, and I've done that already on another live. It's not just about the brain, but it's the way the body reacts to sugar as well. It's all to do with cortisol and adrenaline and what's the other one called? Your adrenal glands and your pituitary. Oh God, people, diabetes, insulin, and all of that lot, all about blood sugar. But it also is about these neural pathways that we have been using, and our brain has taken them back, bang, in a nanosecond. Food's going to help that. And you're like, where the hell did that come from? Wasn't even thinking about a biscuit. And the thing is, at first, we'll do it just when things disturb us. But then, because we start to feel some consequences, like the weight gain, we don't feel quite good about ourselves, we feel sluggish, we feel bloated, and we consciously, our conscious mind knows and makes the connection between that's because I'm eating that food. We start to feel bad about ourselves, we feel guilty. Why have I let it happen again? And of course, what happens is we feel rubbish about it. So we feel bad, and the emotional eating monster goes, pick me, I know what'll work, come on, pick me. And you don't pick it, you go, no, I'm going to use some willpower, I'm going to swear. It goes, no, and it bangs on the door, and it bangs on the door, and it bangs on the door. And it's a bit like, I suppose, an emotional postman who will bang on the door, and it'll say, I'm here, can you answer the door? Because it's a feeling, and your feelings want to be heard. So your feelings go, I'm feeling a bit fed up, I'm feeling a bit lonely, and you go, I haven't got time for that now. Sorry, I haven't got time, just have a pizza. Because your subconscious will say that'll take away that feeling of loneliness quickly. So it'll be quiet for a while, it'll eat the pizza, and then you stop eating the pizza, a little bit of time goes by, and it'll start knocking on the door again. I'm still bored, I'm bored now, I'm bored, and you go, no, I haven't got time, I don't want to go there, I don't want to feel those feelings, or I've had an argument with my husband and I'm feeling really upset, I don't want to feel those feelings, I want to push them away. It's easy to push them away, so you'll go, have a bar of chocolate, and it'll go, the monster will eat that, and it'll go, yeah, okay, fine. And it takes away for a little while, and then it goes, no, but you still not had the message. You didn't listen to me feeling. I'm a feeling. I need you to feel it. I need you to listen to me. I'm trying to tell you something. So it keeps knocking, and it goes on and on and on. So the longer the program is running in the brain, the more powerful it gets. So what we need to do in your computer is to clean your hard drive. So it's like it's a virus, and we've got to clean it. We've got to restore you to factory settings, if you like, so that automatic response isn't there anymore. Now, if you think with your body, when you had your surgery, or if you're going to have your surgery, what you did with your surgery is you restored your body to if you like, to factory settings. I always say to people, it's like having a new chance, having a fresh chance. It's you're starting off, and you've got a new tummy, and you're going to wean it, and you're going to wean it, and you're going to make sure that you make those lifestyle changes, and for a good while you do. But then feelings get in the way, emotions get in the way, things go wrong. It's not at the forefront of our mind. The surgery is not the most important thing. It's not our obsession anymore. And what happens is the emotional eating monster comes back in, and suddenly, before we know it, that factory settings of the body is not enough, because the emotional eating monster's not in the body, it's in the brain. So we've got to do something up here to stop the monster. Keep trying to restrict our diet and do things with our diet is never going to do that. So what we've got to do is to get rid of the automatic program and replace it with a more appropriate one. So we've got to change those neural pathways. And when we do that, the behavior just disappears. So what I do in my program with people is I ask them to look at some examples of where you are in this behavior and what the feelings are, and help to soothe the monster, because it wants to protect you. It knows you're feeling uncomfortable, and it looks back for the past automatic pilot program. So what happens is you have an urge. You have to ask yourself, how do I feel? That feeling is, like I've just said, a message for us and tells us what we need and want, but we often don't listen to it. We do that. Oh, no, I'm here. No, it's okay. I can't listen to you. I'm too busy. And you give it some food because that quickly gets rid of it. But we don't listen to it. We've got to start to listen to our bodies. Now, if you tune into that feeling and work on a solution for that feeling, and let that feeling inform you of what you need and what's going on in your life, not just in this moment, but in your life in general, because these feelings tend to come over and over and over again. But if we can do that and we can soothe the monster, we can show it a different way. So what we would do is we'd say, right, we'll do, like it said, substitute it. Maybe we say, well, go for a bath, go for a hot bath, or we'll do this. And you know, I can hear you saying to me, but that takes a long time. We're going to substitute it on a lot of basis. And then instead of it thinking, well, I'll go for food, it'll say, oh, well, let's have a nice hot bath. And what happens when I'm at work and I can't go and have a nice hot bath, okay? You think, well, I'm going to have to practice for ages and I want a quick fix. Well, you don't, because your brain doesn't know the difference between a real situation and an imagined situation. And it can hear you going, well, that's rubbish, don't be silly. But think about it. How many of you watched a horror film? And you're watching a horror film and something happens and you jump out of your skin as if you are inside that film and it's happening to you. Your brain doesn't know it's not real. Your subconscious brain doesn't know that it's on a television screen. Your conscious brain does, but when you're in that altered state of watching a film, you are in it. That is your reality for that moment. So we can use that techniques, we can use techniques around that to get you into a state of visualization, using lots of different visualization techniques to trick the emotional eating monster. So on my success support program, what we do is we look at how we can trick it into being tamed by using visualization techniques, so you don't have to practice a different way of soothing yourself over and over again. So we can visualize nice things. We can go back into situations where you actually learnt this behavior in the first place and actually go back in time and substitute that neural pathway for a different one. So how would we have done it differently if we'd known the effect it was going to have on our life then, now? Maybe we wouldn't have learnt to use sugar. So we would have found a different coping mechanism, and we can trick the brain into thinking that that is the coping mechanism it's going to use going forward. And I know it sounds like woo-woo, and that's why quite a lot of my clients call me the white witch, but it really does work. And then what you do is you end up with a happy, content monster, one that is now looking at a different pathway that supports the goals and what you want to do going forward, which is being happy, healthy, and nutritionally well. And the thing is, what happens then is the bad feelings are coming less, because you're not feeling guilt, you're not feeling shame. You're not thinking, why have I done it again? Because that makes it worse. So the monster doesn't need to work as hard, and he can go into retirement and leave you free to eat for the right reasons, and your weight just sorts itself out quite naturally. So that is working on the head stuff and the body stuff. So the body stuff is where the surgery comes in, but the head stuff, the body stuff is never going to fix the head stuff. I'm sorry to say it, but it isn't. And it does take work, and it does take looking at yourself, but God, it's so worth it in the end. So I can't do that with you on here because everybody's different. And I don't have time, and what's more, it'd be playing the work that I do down to even try to do that on a platform like this. I wouldn't even try to do it. But what I can do is I can help you with this. If you feel that emotional eating monster is getting in control of you, and you feel that it's getting in the way of you being a happy, content person, free around food, and you want to turn that brain worrying off, then get in touch with me. You can get in touch with me on Amanda Jane Duggan, which is my Facebook group. You can get in touch with me on Amanda at New Leaf WLS, so New Leaf Weight Loss Surgery, newleafwls.co.uk, if you want to send me an email. But just get in touch with me and I can point you in the right direction of looking at my support course, which is a 6 months intensive course where you look at all of your emotional eating drivers, your self-sabotage, your relationships, your you look at anything and everything that might have an effect on your success. Bariatric surgery is a roller coaster of emotions, and a lot of them we're not even aware of that are going to happen until we've gone into it. And we're not aware of how much we are emotional eaters until the food is taken away from us. And how it surreptitiously gets back in and makes us start to graze. It makes us start to secret eat again. It makes us start to eat more often than we'd like, or stop eating solid protein and just eating slider foods, which all of these we can get away with for a while, but it always catches up on us. You also work alongside Vandana Patel, our bariatric dietitian, who helps you with all things dietetic, hormones, any things that you've got to do with any of your bloods, and she also gives you some amazing tips and tricks. She works really closely with me, and you get some group coaching, you get loads of accountability. My clients will tell you I'm a no bullshit coach. Don't take no bullshit. Excuses don't work. So, I'm on your back. I keep you accountable and help you to be the best you can be and succeed. So that really is the end of my live for tonight, half an hour. That's what I try to do. And thank you so much for being here this evening. And next week, I can't even remember what the topic is for next week. Let me just have a quick look so that I can show you, and then if you want to come and join us next week. So next week is what is your food script? So your food script is the thing that you were taught when you were a child, all about food. So what are your beliefs about food? What beliefs are getting in the way of you being free from all of this emotional eating, self-sabotaging, etc.? What food scripts, what food beliefs did you have as a small child that have getting in the way of you being your very best self and free from that? So I hope you got something out of tonight. If you didn't catch it now, you can catch it on replay. I'm going to put it up now. And it's been lovely having you here, and I will see you next week, 7 o'clock on Bariatric Mindset TV. You take care, guys. Bye.